He's a builder out of Battle Creek. He runs a family-owned operation, as Steve just alluded to a second ago. And his name is Scott Miller, and he knows all about how to create things, how to make things happen. Please welcome my next guest, Mr. Scott Miller from Battle Creek, lady. Great to see you. You are the toughest guy, but once I got you to open up, you had a wealth of incredible insights to share. Has anybody ever else told you, or do they say, you know, he wants to talk about all the different things that really drive him, but you have to be patient and it'll come out? How does it go? What's the communication style?
What's the communication style?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you got to find out what they're looking for, because
Yes.
I guess in my business, our customer base is changing all the time.
Yes.
Their behaviors, the way they shop, you know, wanting to
Now,
buy the products that I
what's the number
sell.
one difference? Is it that they're shopping on the internet basically for buildings and construction and vendors and kind of shopping you before they call? Is that correct?
Oh yeah, with today's, it's a whole different generation.
Yes.
Because they have all those electronics that they can use.
Right.
So they're doing their research, checking me out before they make the call.
Right. So when they make the call and you actually touch a prospect, they may be 65% pre-sold, right? Otherwise they may not even contact you. Or is it more difficult? Or they call you and say, hey, I got 3 other people on the other line and I want to know what the price is on the Butler building, and that's it? I mean, how are they actually?
It is more difficult because of those aspects, because they're researching everybody else's too.
Yes, yes.
And primarily on that first initial phone call, we can tell whether or not that they're looking for buying a price,
yeah,
or if they're really wanting something of value.
yes.
Because I guess with the products that we sell and what we do and what we promoted our business on,
Right.
quality, price, we're not the low guy.
Right, right.
But I need the opportunity to be able to show you what the value is that you're getting.
Well, let's talk about that. You shared with me as we were chatting about this upcoming interview how there is an operating cost, or you're calculating, it's not just the materials and the labor to put it up and so on. Factored into that is the cost of
well, it's a term that we
maintenance
use,
and engineering.
the term that we use in our industry right now is called TBOC.
TBOC.
Which is total building operating cost.
Okay.
And that's for any business, you know, like here in the facility we have here.
Sure.
I mean, because the overhead, the electrical, the heating, all those items. And
big factors.
Really, the research shows that the construction cost of any type of building, 10% of it is just the initial construction cost.
10%?
The other 90% of the cost of that building over its life is in the operating cost for the next 20 years.
So that means if I'm going to pretend I'm you or I'm selling, I need to talk about the innovations and the features and so on that go into
That's absolutely correct.
the operating cost.
Because it may cost a little bit more up front now, but over the long term, it's going to save you money.
Tell us about the environmental thing. I find that very interesting because it seems like a major dimension of the purchase decision.
Well, I guess we have to lower our dependency, what we have on the oil industry for our heating requirements. So naturally, and also in the lighting industry too, we do a lot of day lighting options that we have. We can actually design facilities that we utilize day lighting. But with that, you got to have the controls to automatically shut things, turn things off and on.
Okay.
And we're using that in some of our facilities now that we build.
So we're talking about light-sensitive lighting, or it goes down or up and turns on?
It automatically reads how much
Okay.
the candle power, what's in the room.
Sure.
You know, we don't necessarily want to speak about them, but the big boxes,
Yeah.
look up. They all got daylighting in there for a purpose because it changed the way people buy too.
Ah, very interesting.
So those type of features have, you know, they're just now coming through in some of our industry. A lot of people don't realize that.
How else do you create value, Scott? You know, this is very interesting. There's all these additional features and components that go into maintaining a facility. And any other ways that you create value? I mean, you associate with the national brand.
Yes, our companies that we represent are branded very well. The main one would be Butler Manufacturing.
Right. We know
So, you know, they're the leader in the industry.
Right.
I guess with that, we also use that to, I guess, kick off our business as far as we do the best. We want to promote the best quality product that we have.
Sure.
And I guess we take a lot of pride in our workmanship and putting the package together for it.
If somebody doesn't care about your workmanship or doesn't give you the time to explain the components of great workmanship, do you say, hey, you're not my customer? Or do you are you particularly good at demonstrating? I mean, Some people have videos, web, different things, charts, different things like that. You do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we're on the web too with our web page. We also want to be able to, we're starting to implement using some Google AdWords so that we are pop up, first, and same way on the page too.
Google AdWords, very interesting feature. Who in the room has personal experience or exposure to Google AdWords? Raise your hands if you know a little bit about them. All right, good. Looks like we got 15, 20% at least that's a very interesting tool. Keep going.
But I guess, with tying that technology part of it into what we do,
yes,
it's still, I've never sold anything over the phone or by email.
Well, you're a big...
I have to be in front of the customer.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to show them what we have, show them the differences,
yes,
explain that to them, show them why we have a better value.
Sure. Product demonstration. Yeah. And you're a charming guy.
Yeah.
Plus you've got what? You've got...
In fact, most people, what you tell them, for instance, what they're hearing tonight here,
yes,
they won't retain it. If I can hand something in print to someone, they'll retain the information.
Sounds good. Well, very interesting. It sounds like you're refining your business model. Is there any one thing? I know design build started to really change the nature of the construction industry about 10 years ago. Is that still the big thing? What are you trying to become so that you can retain your preeminence, so to speak, in this part of the country?
We're trying to become, I guess, the premier builder, I guess, for certain types of projects that we do.
Sounds like you're well on your way, by the way.
Yeah, we've been on that ride for
You've been on that arc pretty good.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about being a success as a professional, as a veteran in your industry and so on? Something that we need to learn so that we can become more like you and appreciate seriously the quality of success, or see it through your eyes?
Well, that's a tough one.
Not really.
Everybody's definition, I guess, of success is a little bit different. It's not always about how much money you make.
Why don't you tell me the anecdote about your sons and what they said about what you passed along to them?
Okay, I will. And I guess in my business, we want to push a little bit. You have good, strong work ethics. You teach that. That's carried on.
Yes.
And I did share with you, one thing on a personal success too, just this past weekend for Father's Day.
Father's Day was just recently, yes.
The card that I get from my two sons, which are both engineers, basically said, wanted to thank you, Dad, for being being loyal and showing us the work ethics and what a family is.
The work ethic.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Hard work. That's what gets you
all right.
rewards.
What do you think about hard work, ladies and gentlemen? Scott Miller right here, Battle Creek. Happy Father's Day, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott Miller, ladies and gentlemen.